Welcome into another edition of the Dudley Hilton Show. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, and we have got an exciting show lined up for you tonight. Of course, we'll take a look at video highlights of the Bears win over Bluefield on Saturday. What a great trip it was. Also, we'll recap that game, take a look at the scouting report on Campbellsville coming up this Saturday as the Bears continue on the road. Special guest tonight, the offensive coordinator of this U-Pike team and associate head coach Al Holland. And we'll step into the Bears den and talk to a couple of players about Rodney Dantes and also Hunter Adams. You don't want to miss those guys as we talk with a couple of players. The offensive coordinator, the guy that puts the yards on the side of the offense. But, of course, we've got the three-time state championship coach, all-time winningest high school football coach in the Commonwealth when he retired. He's our coach with over 350 wins. He is Papa Bear, Dudley Hilton, and it is the Dudley Hilton Show. Coach, welcome in.
Well, thank you, Andrew. I'll tell you, it was a good win for us Saturday.
It really was. Bluefield, a team that we talked about, didn't know anything about. They had played some games, exhibition games, in the year prior, but a lot of newcomers. They didn't know who their starting quarterback would be until Saturday, as they had a game time change at starting quarterback. Didn't know a lot about, not a lot of scout, got to play straight up, and they were playing with a lot of emotion coming into that game.
Well, it's hard to go into a game like we just went into Saturday. That was one of the hardest things I ever done, because we didn't know a thing about them. We didn't know who all they had transferred in. They had several kids transferred in, but we didn't know what kind of players they were. And this junior college transfer quarterback came in, and he ended up doing some things well. But they had every advantage in the book, because they had every film we ever done. They had our spring game. They had all of our games last year, and they had a good package for us. So they was trying to use that for their advantage. They didn't want us to know who their quarterback was. They didn't want to know who the running back. And gosh, they were big up front. Sure. I was really impressed how big they were. So they had a lot of things going for them. But I'll tell you, our kids our coaching staff did a good job adjusting as the game went on. And I just thought, we came out the second half and just really played well.
U-Pike goes to 1-0 on the young season, 42-28 the final over the Rams. Quarterback Trevor Hoskins, he threw for a couple of touchdowns to Jordan Amos and Shantez Johnson. Hunter Adams and Seth Millar both with touchdowns on the ground. Trey Bartlett with a pick six. Jeremy Hill, he introduces himself to the Bears fans with a punt return for a score. And it's a good win in a hostile atmosphere. Bluefield, over 4,000 folks there. They were loud, they were vocal, they were excited that football was returning, and it's a good tune-up to head into other Mid-South Conference action.
Well, yeah, and I'm glad you brought up their crowd there. They did and they knew when to yell, Andrew.
They did.
I mean, they really got behind their team on a big offensive play or a big defensive play, and I really thought they really kept their kids up in the air and sky high. They wouldn't just plan that open game, just show up. They thought sure they could beat the University of Pikeville, and they put a little scare into us early, but I really thought that our kids held together. But it was a hard place to go and play, and it was a pretty long trip, a little bit longer, and the road was a little bit tougher than I thought it was. But we went up there and accomplished what we wanted to do, come home with a win, and it was a good team effort. I really thought both sides of the ball. We made a lot of mistakes, a lot of first game mistakes, but that's why we film these things, and we got to get better off those things.
I have yet to see a football coach, whether it be flag football, pee-wee football, junior high, high school, college, NFL, that's ever been happy after week one. Yeah, you'll take a win, but do you truly find so many things to work on from week one that could carry you through 5 weeks?
Well, I had a coaching meeting with my coaches this week, and I told them, I said, we've got to take this film and grow from it. We can't make these same mistakes all year. Last year we had that scrimmage game, and I think not having the scrimmage game hurt us not going in the game very sharp, and I don't think we're very sharp. We really cut back on our penalties. We didn't do those things, but we just didn't execute very well, offensively and defensively, early in the game, and we relied on big plays to get us fired up, and luckily we'd have some of these kids that made big plays for us to get our kids a little bit more fired up, But early in the year, you got to correct these mistakes. You can't do the same old things, and that's what I challenged my coaches. I said, I don't want to come in here next week and see the same mistakes we're making 2 weeks in a row. So hopefully we'll get better on both sides of the ball, and even our special team.
The Bears are 1-0, 42-28, and Coach, from the second half, from halftime on, your team outscores Bluefield 21-7. Offense got it done. Defense, they were able to find a way to shut down the running game of Bluefield. Overall, your thoughts? Yeah, it's a win, and you'll take that, I know. Overall, grade the win over Bluefield.
Well, again, our offense, we depend on one or two kids made a big play for us to get our offense going, and we waited a few kids on defense to make a big play to get our defense go. We all got to go out there and not wait on one kid to make an unbelievable catch, or one kid make an unbelievable interception, or one kid to run a punt back on you. And I think that's what we're sitting back and waiting for somebody to get us going. And we got to have leadership out of the gate on the offense. We've got to have leadership out of the gate on defense. And that's what I'm looking for, a little bit more of control things in the first quarter. And we didn't have control things in the first quarter. So hopefully next game that we'll do a little bit better, been prepared going in this game. But again, we was going in blindfolded. But on the whole, Andrew, I'm very pleased because we are still pretty young. We're talking about 5 seniors on this team, and about 2 or 3 of them's all play. So you're talking about Bluefield's young. We're still young, and I don't like to say those words, but truthfully, you got to say the truth where the truth is, and we're still a sophomore and a few junior football team.
Yeah, it's not used as an excuse. It's just a fact that this is still a young football team, and something that we have to remember. It's a win in week 1, and a lot of big plays that we talked about. We'll see those plays. Video highlights on the way. Also, defensive back Rodney Dante is coming up a little bit later. Also, Hunter Adams, a running back with the Bears, and offensive coordinator, associate head coach Al Holland on this edition of the Dudley Hilton Show. When we return after the break, we'll have those video highlights from Bluefield. You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless.
I made a good living in southeastern Kentucky because I earned a bachelor's degree, but I had to go to Lexington to get it. Now, thanks to the Cole County College Completion Scholarships, you can complete your bachelor's degree at the University of Pikeville main campus at a price comparable to a state university. Or if you want to stay at home, go to a U-Pike Extension campus in your hometown at a cost comparable to community college tuition. It's your scholarship, your time, your university.
Welcome back in to the Dudley Hilton Show, talking all things University of Pikeville football. Of course, the Bears coming off a 42-28 win over Bluefield on the road, and Bluefield College on the Virginia side of the border. They're a new member of the Mid-South Conference, a full member of the conference, so you'll be hearing that name a lot. And the Rams playing for the first time in 71 years. The last time this program played football, 17 days before Pearl Harbor was attacked. So a historic day for that college. And Mitchell Stadium, a historic stadium built by the WPA. Great facility, good place to play. And we've already talked about what an atmosphere they had. We want that in a week or so when the Bears come home.
Yeah, very first-class program. They went out of the way to take care of us as a visiting team. And I was, since I've been in the conference, that's the best place I went on the road as far as somebody going out of the way taking care of us. And they just did a super job, and I let them know that after the game because they, like I said, they really went out of their way, tried to take care of us, and they did.
That they did. And the Bears took care of the win. We'll take a look at some video highlights if you want, Coach. I know a lot of times when you break down film with your coaching staff, you look at some things that can be corrected for the next week and on down the road. But what we do and the fans do, we take a look at the highlights. We'll take a look at the good things that happened, and there were several of these. And we'll get things started in the first quarter, and we'll take a look at a defensive highlight.
I think it was a big sack by Corey Martin and
Corey
the
Martin.
defense there. Just gang tackling there, and that's what we got to have. We all got to be together. And I thought this was one of the biggest plays in the game too. They were ahead of us 7-0. They went for the big touchdown, and Demetri Travis intercepts this thing. Made a beautiful interception right there.
One of the most athletic plays we saw all day, and it was huge. After a fumble, Bluefield going for the throat. Trevor Hoskins now in the shotgun. Big play out here.
Oh yeah, this is the one. I think they thought that was Shantez Johnson, but that's Shante Zachary, and that was a heck of a play for us right there.
Third down conversion.
Yeah, that's a big run from Seth Millard.
Millar ran hard. All your running backs did.
He did. He kept his shoulders upfield, and that's what we got to have. We went sideways a little bit sometimes, but
here's a little run and catch and run, dump pass to Amos. How does the kid do it?
Yeah, what can you say about him? He split two right there. You know, that's athletic ability. That's giving right there. He knows what to do with the ball. You can tell he's been there before, and he knows how to hand the ball back to the referee. And, you know, that's what we got to have, mature players, and Amos did a great job right there.
Another one of your weapons, Grayson Quick, returning kicker. Deep kick down the sideline, and a mistake by the Bluefield return man. But that's the weapon of your kicker, placing it.
Right, and that's that's some of our mistakes we made last year. I thought this should have been a safety right here. It was true in the end zone, but
I'd love to have had a better angle.
Yeah.
It certainly looked like the running back never got out.
This is our new kids. This is a Watson boy here. Makes a real good play, and just should have been a safety for us.
About a 215-pound running back he took down with a hand. Another big defensive stop here.
You know, we're making them punt right here. Our defense struggled a little bit, get started, but again, they went in the game blindfolded, didn't know what to do. But here we make them punt and put a lot of pressure on him. And this is a young man right here. We tickled to death to get him. He called me Sunday and asked me. He said, "Coach, can I ride to church with you?" And I took him to church with me. And he said, "I've done some good things. I'm gonna go thank the Lord," and that's what he did. But he does a good job, Jeremy Hill.
You bet. Another big defensive play, Chris Ross and Taylor Woods with a stick right there. Defense overall, pleased with the effort defensively?
Yeah, pleased. You know, that's two newcomers coming back, and Taylor Woods and them. Here's a big pick by a young man that's, back in the secondary. Again, when you can get a touchdown out of your defense and get a touchdown out of your punting team, things are, going pretty good for you.
Trey Bartlett, the game tied at that point, and he takes the pick six.
I think that ties a record, too, for interception, longest yard there for a touchdown.
80-yard pick six return. Here's another big defensive stop. John Dudley with the shoestring stop. Taylor Woods. We can get that again in slow motion.
John Dudley had a little rough day because he sprung his ankle early in the game, but he went on and played the whole game, and but he's what we need in the middle there.
Jared Harris, your punt protector here, takes a snap, fake punt. I thought this was one of the key plays in the game. Game tied at 21 right there. Gutsy call.
Well, again, we missed Jared the last part of the season last year, and he hurt us some, but showed right now he's helping our football team again.
Another big play. Hoskins to Shantez Johnson. Breaks a couple of tackles. He's so much bigger than defensive backs, and we get another look at this. The corners, they don't want to see this again, but in slow motion, here it is.
Well, you can't coach that, and Shantez is a great young man, and you got to have plays like that, and I'm sure glad he's on our team.
Trevor Hoskins again to Amos. Big pickup here. And he's so low to the ground, that diving catch is nothing for him.
Yeah, he knows what we need, and that's what we need, a good, smart player.
Makes it look easy. Got a big run right here. Hunter Adams we'll be talking to later. Strong, outruns defensive backs. He's a weapon, and certainly someone the Mid-South Conference will be aware of.
Well, you like to see him protecting that ball and having it in the right hand there, so that's a great job right there.
And then, of course, the touchdown, Seth Millar punches it into the end zone for the score, and that's a 2-touchdown lead for U-Pike right there, and that's big.
Yeah, we kind of got to put some new kids in there on the late and kind of give up a touchdown, but again, you can tell we get playing again. That's Corey Martin again, a local boy here, not too far away, plays well for us.
How about this? Hoskins with the keeper.
Big play right here. That's what we got to have a little bit more out of Trevor on good third down situations, just giving us enough yards to get 3 new downs, and Trevor, he's got to lead us.
Hunter Adams, again, another big gainer. Had a long conversion needed there. And it may have run out of gas. That was late in the game. May have run out of gas that time. DB's able to catch up to Hunter.
But you can see where his shoulders upfield, Andrew,
Yes,
and as
sir.
every step he's taking, it's a yard. And there's a great cut back there by that little man right there. You're going to see bigger and big things out of that young man, him and Hunter, all the rest of the year.
Adams and Millar sounds like a great combo in the backfield. Now, that's Hunter, I believe, that'll dive in
And
for the
again,
score.
following Zeke White in there. And the offensive line, you can see that all of them scores, and that's what you want. You want everybody in the end zone. And that's a good film right there to show you offensive line. Everybody scored.
Take a look at a big defensive stop here, Brent Davis.
Oh, yeah, Brent's a newcomer at that linebacker. And, you know, with him and Roy and John Dudley at the linebackers there, I think we got a pretty good threesome right there.
Zeke White
Yeah,
on a
Zeke.
little counter play there. Broke a tackle at the line of scrimmage.
Again, see where his shoulders are going. He's going to the goal line. And that's one thing you got to have, Andrew. You got to have these kids going north and south, not east and west.
Seem to know how to do it right now. Here comes another sack on the Bluefield quarterback.
Yeah,
A lot of penetration in the second half.
again, that's a junior, Taylor Woods, and that's what we need out of Taylor. He's got to be a leader over on that, act like he's been out there before. And you can see right there, he's tickled to get it, but he's not getting up and pointing a finger in their face and let's go at it again, you know.
Another big sack.
Yeah, that's-
Deontay Dorsey Norton.
And again, you see, strip the ball, kind of. Here's what you like to see right here. This is the biggest play of the game right there. And
It's your favorite part of the
Yeah.
highlights, isn't it? That
Yes, sir.
victory formation.
Yeah.
Trevor takes a snap, goes to the knee, and
We showed quite a few highlights there, Andrew, and you know you can tell there's all great plays. And again, we had several plays was messed up, but I don't know. Sometimes last year we could have showed that many good plays in a row. You know what I'm saying? But,
might have been tough.
And that shows, and that we're definitely getting better.
Coach, we've got guests coming up, of course. Dantes, Adams, and associate head coach, offensive coordinator Al Holland. I know he means a lot to you, the things that he's done. Your thoughts on these players and Al coming up a little
Well,
later?
you know, I can't say. You know, again, in this business, you got to have great help, and you know, Al Holland, there's no better relationship him and I've had since the 2 years now that I've been here, and we work so well together. And you know, and Dane Brown, the defense coordinator, he handles that side of the ball, but Al does several things extra for me, and I sure, you know, he means a lot to us. And these two young men, they're both of them. Rodney, last year he was a red shirt player, and I couldn't wait till he got eligible where he can play. And you know, he's everything everybody said he was, and he's proved it out on the field. And he does it with his pads. He don't do it like that. You know, we've had them in the past and want to run their mouths a little bit, but Rodney, he does it with his pad. And Hunter, just an everyday player. I watched him play at Millsboro. He carried Millsboro on his back for about 3 years, and hopefully he can carry this U-Pike offensive team on his back here in another couple years. And he's that workhorse type of kid. He knows he's been there and he's done it. And you know, you just like to have people with experience, and they're not talkers. They're football players, and they prove it out on the football field. That's what I can say about both those players. They're definitely football players.
We're going to let them talk a little coming up tonight as we continue with the Dudley Hilton Show. Of course, a couple of players come up as we go to the Bears Den. Still to come, a scouting report on Campbellsville. We'll hear from Coach Dudley Hilton again. When we come back, offensive coordinator and associate head coach Al Holland on the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back into the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, and some great highlights from Week 1 at Bluefield. A team that no one knew much about. First-year program coming back. They had played some scrimmage games last year, but not a true indication of what we would see. I'm joined now by offensive coordinator, associate head coach of the Bears, Al Holland, and I know you're glad to have Week 1 under the belt.
Oh yes, it was a tough one, and especially just preparing the guys, and you have to go into the ball game just expecting anything. It took us a little while to fill them out, and then we finally got on track and started moving the football. But them first games are always the toughest, and like Coach said, we wish we would have got the scrimmage game in this year because you could have ironed some things out going into it. But this bunch, they had a great football team. Really couldn't go off anything in the past because they hired some new coaches, new schemes, just from reading media stuff, and going into the football game made it tough on us. But our guys responded well, and we had to overcome that first push that they had because they was playing with a lot of enthusiasm, not only just for their program being back, but for their fans and everything. But I think we responded really well this first week.
Newcomer to the Mid-South Conference. I think this is a team that you're not going to be able to take lightly. Man, they were
right.
Huge up front offensively.
Yeah, offensively and defensively. I thought they did really well recruiting this past year because, I looked from the roster in the spring, I think they only had 25 guys coming back, so a lot of transfer guys, drop downs from Division II, 1AAs, and then they had a couple kids from junior colleges, so they did a really good job bringing kids in.
It's a good football area, Southern West
yes.
Virginia, Southwest Virginia. There was a high school game Friday night before your game with Bluefield. Had nearly 12,000 people there for Bluefield Graham. It's a great area, and they're football intelligent. The fans are. And they were excited about the game as well. It felt like a Mid-South Conference game.
Oh, yeah, it was. And it was great atmosphere. Their fans really got into it, and it got loud in there at times, some third down situations. But, our guys responded well. They act like they'd been there before, and that helped with the veteran quarterback leading us into them situations.
Coach Al Holland, the associate head coach, offensive coordinator for the University of Pikeville Bears. As we wrap up Bluefield, we'll talk about the offensive guys' grade of his unit, but also want to talk about prepping. You talk about how tough it was to scout, to prepare for Bluefield. New program, new coaches, you really don't know what to expect. You prepare for Campbellsville this week, and I'm sure that started Saturday evening on the way back, started looking at the Tigers. It's a program you know about.
Oh,
How
yeah.
different's the preparation?
It's a little bit different because it's still their first football game this season.
Sure.
So, they're going to change some things in the off season, and you're going to have to expect some changes from last season. But, you can go back from last year's films that you had from them, and, you even revert back to a couple years ago because of things they do scheme-wise and schematically. But, they've got a new offense coordinator. Their head coach calls their defense, but that's a thing that helps us a little bit. Is he's back to call the shots for them. So
Let's talk a little about the off season. Now your newcomers are in place. Maybe some new additions to the offense. Some guys that stepped into new positions late in the season last year, like Hunter Adams, that went from a wide out to a running back. Let's talk about some of the newcomers, and you as the offensive coordinator. Talk about the recruiting process. Who was brought in? Who the fans will hear a lot of this year without giving a scouting report to the rest of the conference.
First starting the backfield, you got Trevor Hoskins back as our starting quarterback, been here, a 3-year starter, has about broke every record. And then, our running backs, this is probably the most depth we've had at running back, and a great core group, a great group of guys that get along well. Hunter Adams comes back after starting the last 2 or 3 ball games last year for us, and that's a veteran guy for us. You got Seth Millar. He's our running back that transferred in here from Georgetown College, had to sit out a year and has really been in the program and worked and learned. Zeke White started for us my first season here, was a junior college kid and had to sit out last season in redshirt. But, he brings a lot of leadership to us too. And we have Chris Perry as a freshman that has been in the program and getting eligible to play. Out on the perimeter, we got a lot of our skill guys back.
Sure.
Jordan Amos and Shantez Johnson and Tanner Napier, all them guys made big plays for us last year. But, you add in Jeremy Hill, the transfer from Ball State. He affected the game in a different way the other day, special teams wise. Can't wait to see what he does offensively for us as the year goes along.
Yeah.
And Shante Zachary has done a great job, just sort of been there and keeps working his way on up. And then you add in Brent Slusher, our tight end. He's had a long road to finally get healthy to be able to play, and he had some jitterbugs the other day of getting used to getting back in the flow of things, but I think he's going to be big for us as the year goes along. And, our offensive line, we had a couple transfer guys. We got Andrew Melton from Eastern Kentucky, Cody Brown, he's a transfer in for us. You know, Jacob Ryan didn't get to play last week, just got eligible this week, so we look forward to seeing him. And you know, we got Keegan McLean, you know, tore his ACL last year, and he's back and did a great job. You know, was really worried how he would feel after the ball game on Saturday, after playing that many plays, and you know, came back, coach, I'm a little sore, but hey, I feel good, and went on Sunday and was ready to go. So that says a lot about him. And you know, a freshman that came in, Brandon Ball, he's done a great job for us. You know, about 6'3", 315 offensive lineman as a freshman, and you know, picked up the scheme well and has really been pushing guys. So you know, we got a great core group of offensive linemen. I think it's the most depth we've had at offensive line since I've been here. And you know, I think this year can be special if things keep working and guys keep gelling together and keep learning and keep getting better week in and week out.
As programs develop, that's when you start to see depth.
Oh, yes.
And when one guy goes down, it doesn't decimate a season. You've got some depth that can go there. If you've got a guy who tweaks an ankle or whatever the case may be, you've got someone that can step in, and certainly looks like we've got a lot of depth after 1 week.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, we came out pretty healthy after this ball game. We got a couple bumps and bruises, but, you know, everybody seems to be healthy and ready to go for this week.
It's a physical game, and they still allow contact.
Oh, yes.
At least in the Mid-South Conference, you're going to have bangs and bruises. Coach Al Holland, let's grade the offense after week 1. 42 points, you have to like that. 440-plus yards, you have to like that. Overall, a grade of the team week 1, and let's try to keep heads swelling down.
You know, once we went through and graded the film, you know, I'd give them a C+, B- grade. You know, we started off slow. We had 19 plays in the first half the other day. That's unlike us, a lot of 3-and-outs. But, you know, the biggest drive of the game was in the fourth quarter, and that said a lot about our football program. We took it was about 12 minutes on the clock. It was about a 6.5-minute drive that went down and sort of put us up 21. And it was sort of the drive that set the tone of the ball game and sort of took it over. And that said a lot about us. You know, 11 plays and running for 11 rushes for 86 yards right there. So that says a lot for us going forward from here on.
It's a statement kind of drive,
Yeah, you
too.
got that right.
It takes the wind out of the defensive unit, and I think it certainly did at Bluefield on Saturday. Let's talk about Campbellsville now. As you prepare for the Tigers, yeah, they've got new additions, tweaks and changes to their schemes, but you know you have a pretty good idea of what's coming with Campbellsville, and you know what you want to do against Campbellsville. We're not here to give away our scouting report to Campbellsville, but what do we know about the Tigers heading in?
They have their Mike linebacker back from last year. They got some guys in the secondary back, so they got a lot of experience coming back there. They lose their big-time wideout. He was about 6'6" last year. I think he was Player of the Year in the conference or Offensive Player of the Year. So, but they did go out and get them a junior college quarterback. So look for him to, you know, be making plays. He can run and throw, but you know. They've got some guys that's played, but they've had some turnover too. So it'll be interesting to see what shows up on Saturday when we play them.
You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show presented by Appalachian Wireless. We're talking University of Pikeville football. The Bears coming off a 42-28 win over Bluefield in the season opener last week. This week on the road to Campbellsville. It's another Mid-South Conference affair, and it's a 6 p.m. kickoff. And, of course, you'll be able to hear it live on Z-Rock 107.5. beginning at 5:40 Saturday evening. We'll get things started with the pregame show and have complete coverage Saturday evening from Campbellsville. Currently, we're talking with offensive coordinator and associate head coach Al Holland. And I look at the different weapons you have. Amos, Johnson, Slusher, Zachary, Adams, White, Millar, Hill, Napier, Hoskins. So you've got a lot of weapons. And in years past in the Mid-South Conference, you'd see guys, you would see defensive units try to key on guys and shut down a particular part of the offense and effectively could shut down an offensive unit that way. With the type of weapons you have, Slusher, I'm not sure he had a touch Saturday, but he's obviously going to be a weapon, I would think, down the road. His first game back after the injury, so easing his way in. But how does a team key on any one part of the offense?
You know, that helps us become more of a balanced attack. You know, in the past we've been more one way or the other and been more pass-heavy in the past. But now it allows us to be more of a balanced attack. They can't just key on one guy. But, you know, like I tell our guys, you know, you got to work hard in every aspect of the football game. And, you know, Slush didn't have one catch this past weekend, but he affected the game in a different way by blocking and we, you know, we moving him around. And, you know, there was times they was double teaming him. That's what helped Amos catch the big dig for us. And he was on a big play across the middle, and Amos cuts back across, and Hoskins finds him. But you know, there's going to be games where they're going to key on one guy, and it's going to help somebody else become open. And you know, it helps our pass game with having the running backs that we have, and it helps our passing game, you know, both ways. So it dictates a little bit for us, and it's only going to help us as the year goes along. And teams can't key in on us only saying we can only throw the football or only be able to run the football, because, you know, in the past they got to the point to where they could rush 3 and drop 8, and now they have to look for us to be able to run the football and throw it.
Al Holland, offensive coordinator and associate head coach at the University of Pikeville, and he's a guy we can sit and talk football with for hours. But we talk about the different weapons. We talk about more weapons. How does that change? Dudley Hilton says, last year I was a freshman coach. This year I'm a sophomore coach. You've been around a little bit longer, but you're still a young coach, young guy, still learning what you want to be and what your system wants to be, and you'll constantly change things. With those different types of weapons that you have, has that changed the way that you run the offense?
Oh, yeah, and, you know, I've only grown and only got better. I feel, you know, you got to tweak things year in and year out and play to your strengths of what your personnel is. And, you know, Coach has always preached about, you know, learn from your mistakes, and that's what I've tried to do is, you know, learn from my own mistakes, from calling plays to, you know, to pushing it in our offense, to making our guys better in formation-wise and run and pass situations and things. But it's only made me better as a coach, and I'm only going to keep growing. But you just got to learn from your mistakes in this business, and that's the only way you're going to keep getting better.
You seem to like the personnel you have this year.
Oh yeah, it's we got a great group of guys that love to go to work. You know, out there every day, working hard, and you know, this season could be special. But these guys got to work day in and day out, and you know, that's what we have to preach to them and keep learning from mistakes and only grow and get better.
Only looking one game ahead.
That's right.
This week we're looking at Campbellsville.
That's right, one at a time.
Congrats on the Week 1 win, 42 points over 440 yards. We're looking to Campbellsville. Let's bring home a win and go into the third game, the first home game of the year, with a 2-0 record. That's Al Holland, Associate Head Coach and Offensive Coordinator at the University of Pikeville. You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. When we return, we'll step into the Bears' den. We'll meet one of the Bears' players, about running back Hunter Adams, when we come back on the Dudley Hilton Show.
So you're finishing your studies at a community college in southeastern Kentucky. Most people believe they have to pack up and leave home to get an affordable bachelor's degree. Good thing you're not most people. Stay home and finish your education at the University of Pikeville. You can even complete your degree at the community college campus you've already been attending. It's your time, your university. You're already so close. UPike. Visit k4cs.upike.edu for more information and eligibility requirements. Welcome back in to the Dudley Hilton Show, talking University of Pikeville football. I'm your host, Andrew Joyce, and we'll step into the Bears' Den now. It's one of my favorite parts of any edition of the Dudley Hilton Show. That's when we get to meet one of the Bears players or a couple of Bear players, as we do this week. And joined now by Hunter Adams, a 6-foot, 200-pound junior. He comes out of Middlesboro High School. Last year, a wideout who moves to the running back spot late in the season. I think just a couple games, maybe 3 games from the running back position, but still led the team in rushing last year. Hunter Adams, welcome to the Dudley Hilton Show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
The switch from wideout to running back, what kind of transition was that for you?
It wasn't that awful bad. I played running back in high school, so I was familiar with the position and spent the week in practice last year, so it came back to me sort of natural. So it was not real bad.
We'll talk more about that in just a moment, but as we do on the Dudley Hilton Show, when we talk with players, you guys are student athletes, and the word student comes first. That means academics come first. Hunter Adams, let's talk about what your major is, what you want to do academically when you leave the university.
Well, I'm majoring in elementary education. I'm going to do the teach and coach thing, like to coach high school football, and that's the plan. So hopefully we'll get it done.
Who's been an influence on you? Let's talk about your football background. When did Hunter Adams first put on the pads? And maybe talk about some of the coaches you've had through the years that might have been an influence on you that Hunter Adams wants to go into coaching.
Well, with Dad playing and everything in college, it sort of seemed like it wasn't an option growing up. You strapped on the pads pretty early, starting out in kindergarten, pee-wee football. So, and then growing up, I think being around several coaches, my dad being one of them, and several other good coaches, it just seemed like you can't play forever, so you want to stay in the game. The next thing is coaching, so I think I'd enjoy coaching, and that's something I'm looking forward to one day.
Playing for Dudley Hilton, and of course Coach Hilton, a legend in Kentucky. He was the winningest Kentucky high school football coach at Bell County, Bourbon County, Breathitt County stops in his coaching career. When he retired, he was the winningest coach, and he is truly a legend. You were at Middlesboro when he was at Bell County.
Yeah.
Word was that they tried to get you to climb Log Mountain and become a part of the Bobcats.
I don't know if I don't know why that didn't happen, but we met up later here, so I guess it all worked out.
Quite a rivalry game. What was it like as a player to face a Dudley Hilton coach team?
Well, we faced him when I was younger, but later on in my high school days, we didn't play that game. But I always had a lot of respect for Coach Hilton and what he did over there, and just what I had heard through mutual friends that went to Bell High and stuff like that. So yeah, I always had a lot of respect for what he did up there.
I know he had a lot of respect for Hunter Adams as well, and a lot of folks throughout the mountains did. We realized what you did at Middlesboro, carrying that team literally on your shoulders at times during your high school career. Now at the University of Pikeville, at the running back spot, averaged 7 yards plus on the game in the win over Bluefield. Not sure if you realize that or not. Last year's average in limited time from the running back position averaged nearly 6 yards per carry. It's not a bad clip in Mid-South Conference competition. Let's talk about goals for Hunter Adams. What kind of type of individual goals do you have going into a game with Campbellsville this week and maybe long-term for the season?
Well, I think the individual stuff will come as long as the team stuff is coming. So, I know towards the end of the year last year we didn't have many options, but this year it's a different story. We've got 2 or 3 guys back there at the running back spot that can come in anytime and really take off. So I'm looking more as a group, as set goals as a group at running back, and then in offense, and then as team. So
something I've heard. This team's still young. It is. There are a lot of freshmen, sophomores, but there are some juniors and seniors out there in key positions. Something else I've heard about this team a lot through preseason and just through week 1, and the term special. This is a special group. This is a special offensive unit. I've heard that word some. In the locker room, do you guys, you've been around special programs, teams that everything just seems to come together. Is that something that it feels like in the locker room as well?
Yeah, we have a great group of guys, and everybody gets along. There's not been any pointing fingers and everything, and I think we have to be pretty special to survive that camp we went through in August. That was pretty rough.
Dudley Hilton, he had the hat. I don't know, it's 35, 40 years old. I don't know if it's still out there in preseason camp. The one, Get Tough.
Get Tough, yeah, that was last year. I don't know what his motto is this year. He's not told us yet, so
Get Tougher.
We'll find it. Yeah,
I heard it was Get Tougher. I heard it was. Hunter Adams, last year, limited options, not a lot of depth. Late in the season, you said it. We didn't have a lot of options. Teams were able to key on things that you were trying to do offensively. Now, you've heard the names that were mentioned, the Amos, the Slusher, the Johnson, the White, the Adams, the Hoskins, so many different weapons out there offensively. Does that take pressure off of one guy in any position that he doesn't have to carry the load?
Yeah, it does tremendously, especially during the season last year. As Coach Holland mentioned, they were rushing 3 and dropping 8.
Sure.
That's makes it awful harder on Trevor to try to throw into 8 guys. So I think this year will be a lot different as far as that goes, because more of a running game obviously helps him out.
Had a good running game, balanced attack Saturday in the win over Bluefield. You had a touchdown. Let's have an insider's grade from the running back position. You were the starting tailback against Bluefield. Let's have Hunter Adams' grade of the offensive unit. It includes the O-line, receivers, quarterback, running backs in the Bluefield win. Your grade of the offensive unit?
Well, I think we started out slow, but I'd give us in the B range. I thought definitely second half that big long drive there.
Yeah.
That really showed a lot of potential for what it hopefully is to come.
Pretty impressive, and I think Coach Holland even stepped up and said maybe C+ to a B-. So he graded pretty highly too after week one. Everyone's feeling good after a 42-28 win. Let's get another one this week.
Yes, sir.
Hunter Adams, running back with the University of Pikeville Bears, heading to Campbellsville this Saturday in a 6 p.m. kickoff. He wears number 17. You'll see him in the offensive backfield when we come back. We're still in the Bears Den, and we'll talk with one of the defensive specialists, Rodney Dantes, when we return. You're tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back into the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We're talking University of Pikeville football, and the Bears coming off a 42-28 win over Bluefield on the road in Mid-South Conference action on Saturday. And the Bears, they put up 42 points on the Rams, and defensively only gave up 7 in the second half. A little bit of a tough start for the Bears defensively in the first half, a team without much scouting report. So we're going to talk some defense now on the Dudley Hilton Show, and joined now by 6'1" defensive back Rodney Dantes out of Port St. Lucie, Florida. Rodney, welcome in to the Dudley Hilton Show.
I'm glad to be here.
And welcome back.
Yes.
We say that because last year a redshirt season. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. But Rodney Dantes, you come from Centennial High School, play a couple of years at junior college, Antelope Valley in California. Let's talk more about your football background. And when was the first time Rodney Dantes put on the pads?
I picked up football in like my freshman year in high school.
Really?
Yeah. Because my parents are actually from Haiti, so they more into soccer. So I didn't really think about football until I got to high school and I seen the football players out there playing.
So you're still really a newcomer to the game. Hunter Adams, a guy who started playing in kindergarten, so he's got a few years on you. So you're a little bit of a latecomer to football, but certainly you're a quick learner. Caught on to the game very quickly. Let's back up and talk about Rodney Dantes and the student, because in student athlete, student comes first. The classroom comes first before all football activities at the University of Pikeville. Let's talk about your academic major, what your plans are academically. Hunter Adams wants to go into coaching. I'm curious what Rodney Dantes wants to go into.
I'm a business and administration and an emphasis in accounting major, and hopefully I can be your accountant one day.
All right. One can always use a good accountant. New program at the University of Pikeville that's coming as well, sports management, with of course, a master's degree in sports management. Any thoughts of going into that?
Oh, I've thought about doing the MBA program. I mean, that's a great opportunity, you know, because it's always great to become educated, you know, as far as you can go. So
I think about guys at ESPN. I think about NFL players, NBA players, Major League Baseball players. In sports management, you might hook up a better gig as an accountant with one of those guys than you would with me. I'm just looking out for you here. There's more money available there. Rodney Dantes, defensive back, got your first start on Saturday against Bluefield. And we mentioned redshirt year last year. It had been a little while since you'd been in a competitive situation. What did that feel like walking onto the field?
To be honest, I was very, very nervous to start off.
Really?
You know? Yeah, because it's been a year, and like, you know, when you were sent out last year, I was like, when I seen plays happening, I was like, could I make that play? Could I have been like a key part or impact player out there? So it was it was tough not playing last year, but I was a little nervous, but very excited too to be out there.
How long did it take for the nerves to be gone?
After the first play,
Yeah.
I was ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Bluefield, not a bad team. Had some skill guys out there, junior college quarterback who comes in, and he's pretty talented. Little challenge for the defensive backs and the secondary. Let's have your grade of the secondary against Bluefield.
We expect greatness on defense and offense, so I'd give us like a C, you know, like a C minus. I know, because our coach talks about being great all the time. You know, that's what he's trying to put inside of us. So I'd give us a C because the sky is the limit. We're trying to play past week 15. So
Secondary guys, is that a pretty tight group at the University of Pikeville?
yes, we are. I mean, we eat dinner together, we eat breakfast together. I know we're always hanging out playing video games. So yeah, we're pretty tight.
You're one of the more experienced guys back there.
Yes, sir.
You take that leadership role. Are you a vocal leader? You're a guy that, hey guys, watch this. This is how it's done.
No, I'm not the big talking guy. I just can't do that. I'd rather let my pads do the talking, you know.
Yeah.
And then everyone else is fired up too.
Dudley Hilton arrives at the University of Pikeville last year. He called it his freshman year. How much is Coach Hilton's coaching different last year than what you've seen this year?
Like he expects a lot more from us. I mean, because this is his second year, and like we are into our program, so he calls a little bit extra things, and like we do a little bit more, you know, because he knows he trusts us and we trust him. So it's a lot better. I mean, I trust that guy. I mean, I'll go to war for him. I'll run through the wall. So whatever he wants me to do, I'll do.
A lot of folks will say that a football team, a true team in the locker room, has a family feel. Do you feel that at the University of Pikeville?
Yes, yeah, we're a family. I mean, we're going to ride and die together. You know, that's how it is. So, yeah.
So when I call Coach Hilton Papa Bear, it kind of fits.
Yeah, it does. That's our pops. That's
Yeah.
the old guy, you know. That's
There
our
you go.
pops.
Rodney Dantes, 6'1" senior defensive back out of Florida, now starting corner for free safety, I guess, for the Bears. And Rodney, what are some of your goals? Besides being an accountant, let's talk about some individual goals for this year and season goals for this team.
I don't see individual. I mean, like, if someone else is making a play, I'll be happy. So our biggest goal as a team is to be playing past week 15. You know, our expectations are very high this year. I mean, it's not just winning one more game or two more games. We're expecting to play past week 15.
And one game at a time. Campbellsville this week. Let's get a win against the Tigers.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being a part of the Dudley Hilton Show.
That's just another one of our student athletes with the University of Pikeville program, Rodney Dantes. We heard from Hunter Adams earlier. And as we wrap up this edition, Coach Dudley Hilton returns next on the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless.
As a mother of two, I have emphasized education to my children. I have personally watched UPike grow for more than 30 years. If you are a graduate of any high school in southeastern Kentucky and have earned 60 college credit hours, you can now receive an affordable 4-year degree right here at home with the new Kentucky Cole County Scholarship. This is our scholarship, our time, and our university. Visit upike.edu.
Welcome back into the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Andrew Joyce, your host, and what a special show. Offensive coordinator, associate head coach Al Holland on tonight's show, along with Rodney Dantes, defensive back, and Hunter Adams, a running back with the Bears. Love talking to the students. I'm sure it helps keep you feeling young because they do. They've got so much energy, and you can see that they're excited about this team and about this program. Coach Dudley Hilton, you've got some quality young men around this program.
Well, I think what makes you feel proud, they're all about the team, and it's not all about them. And, you know, as a coach, that's what you're looking for, to have a good football team. And I guarantee it's up to those two. We'll definitely have a good football team because they're team men. They're not. It's not all about them. It's all about our football team.
We've taken care of most of the Campbellsville scout with Coach Holland as the Bears head to Campbellsville. Make some adjustments from Bluefield.
Campbellsville prep's a little different because you've got some film to look at. You've got some idea of what they will be throwing at you. What changes as far as travel for this week for this team?
Well, it's an evening game. That's going to be a little different for us, playing at 6 o'clock instead of in the midday. So hopefully, we'll get about an hour and a half in the sun, and hopefully, it'll be a little cooler where we can enjoy it a little bit more. And I tell you, that's heat of the day in the middle of the day like that. It was pretty tough at Bluefield last week, and that's one reason early in the year. Last year we had a couple of 6 o'clock games, and here we start off with this year with a 1 o'clock game. But the 6 o'clock game is going to be a little different on the travel. But we've got used to the charter buses now, and we got used to going in the restaurant and eating. And you get those things out. You learn how to do those things too every year. So we did something a little different this year than we did last year. We take our top starters on offense, starters on defense, and a few more on the first bus, and just trying to keep them together as a family, not just put all offense on one bus and all defense on the next bus. And I thought that worked well. So we've made some adjustments on those things on the years since last year. So it'll be a good trip for us this week.
Of course, young teams, not just do they have to learn how to do things on the field, but off the field as well, learning what the program's all about. Coach Dudley Hilton at Campbellsville on Saturday, 6 p.m. kickoff. There will be a lot of Dudley Hilton folks at Campbellsville on Saturday. I know you look forward to that.
Well, yeah, again, it's down there within about 20 miles of my hometown. I know all my family will be there. But bottom line, I just hope we take the U-Pike Bears down there with us and do what we did last year. Went down there and took care of business and made me very proud. And hopefully go down there and do it again this year. And one thing we got to show right now, we got one game under a belt. They don't have a game under a belt, and we got to show that that experience last week really helped us, and hopefully they'll make some mistakes that we made last week, and hope we can capitalize on their mistakes.
Big emphasis on coming out ready to play at the opening kickoff for this team.
Well, yeah, again, that's what I challenged my coaches this week. Hey, it's over with. It's we 1-0, and let's go back to work. And so far this week they have, and hopefully we just get everybody healthy. We got a few nagging little injuries, and hopefully everybody will be full strength our Saturday, and we'll be ready to play.
Coach Dudley Hilton as the Bears will take on Campbellsville. Saturday, 6 p.m. kickoff. Coverage begins at 5:40 on Z-Rock 107.5. And you've been tuned to the Dudley Hilton Show. On behalf of Coach Hilton, Coach Holland, Rodney Dantes, Hunter Adams, and the University of Pikeville Bears, I'm Andrew Joyce. Good evening. Thanks for tuning to the Dudley Hilton Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless.